What's happening, engineers? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to construct your complete assembly file. And it's going to be basically your completed rocket that's going to be composed of all the components you've been working on over the last few weeks. All right, when you're done, it's going to look something like this. We got a nose cone, we got some fins. If we flip this around, there's an engine mount in there. There might be some other things too. And another thing is if I drag this around, you can see that they are all fixed relative to each other. And we learned a little bit about rigid groups in a previous tutorial. We're going to do a similar thing by making a rigid joint with some of these. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to open up a new sketch, a new file, and I'm just going to go ahead and right away call this complete assembly. All right. And so I'm going to start clicking on the things I want to insert into this file. Engine mount, yes. Insert into current design. So you right click, this drop down is going to come up, and the second option is insert into current design. There we go. I'm really happy with this position. I don't need to make any changes. Next, I want to do the fuselage. All right, so insert into current design. And you can see it like kind of covers it up. And that's okay. It's because these were both constructed right on the at the origin. If I hide this, you can see like, oh yeah, it's just underneath. But if I move this away, you can see that they're not fixed. They're not joined together. So we'll have to fix that. I want my nose cone with a cap. Insert into current design. All right, there we go. Oh, this is giving me the option to rotate this, and I'm going to do that now because you can see that this is laying horizontal. I know eventually I want this to be sticking upward in the same direction as the fuselage, so I'm just going to turn this 90 degrees, and I'll come back to it. All right, there we go. Okay. And I also want some fins, and so I have my fin file opened up. This back edge, or this back plane, is the part that's going to be connected to the fuselage. All right, so I want to remember these dimensions for later on. So I'm just going to hover over this. I could click on this edge right here. I could see that it's 3 millimeters. It tells me down in the corner right here. And this is 80 millimeters. So I'm gonna need to remember that for a little bit later on. We're gonna get back to that. All right. So anyways, let's go to our complete assembly, and I'm going to say insert into current design. All right. So I'm just gonna do these components for this tutorial. You might need to do more for your complete assembly, but let's get going. All right. So first, we can take our nose cone. And I have my nose cone with the cap on it. And so I'm going to push J for joint. And this window is going to come up. We're going to make a rigid joint. That's usually a default. If it's not, change it to rigid. There are several different types of joints we can make. But for this tutorial, we're just going to focus on rigid. All right, so what I need to do is click on a part of this that I want to connect. So I'm going to go on that little, where the collar meets the upper part of the nose cone. Right, so that's kind of like the inner edge right there. So I select that, and then I'm going to flip my orientation around, and I'm going to go onto the inside diameter of my fuselage. That's that right there. And you can see that there's that little circle with the red, blue, and green lines. Those represent the the axes, and it'll probably match up. That's going to be the origin of what I just clicked compared to the origin of what I'm clicking now. And those should match up. And if I do, oh, there we go. That looks great. I'm going to hit OK. Went out of view, so I'm just going to go back to my home view. And so now you can see if I drag my fuselage or if I drag my nose cone, they kind of stick together. All right, so let's do the same, a similar thing with our engine mount. I'm going to push J for joint again, and I want to join my engine mount. So I'm going to click on that outer ring edge right there. And then I'm going to move this out of the way. I can't see it as well as I want to. I'm going to click on the inner diameter. I guess it's the inner circumference, the inner edge. And one thing that just happened, you can see when I did that, only that bottom ring moved, and it kind of freaks me out sometimes when that happens, because I know in my previous file, the file that I used to create this, I know that I use rigid groups or rigid grouping. And so these should all stick together. So what's going on? Well, don't freak out. Just hit OK, and everything moves to where it should be. I can move this fuselage out of the way, and you can see that, yep, that's where it's supposed to be. All right, so now we just got the fins, and you're probably thinking, hey, you only have one fin. That's okay. We're going to use probably some circular patterning to create all of our fins. You might want 3 or 4 fins. It's up to you. Either one is fine. But what I need to do is I need to unlink my fuselage because I need to make some changes to this. And it's because the fuselage has a curved surface, and I can't join to a curved surface. All right, so I'm going to click on this little link icon right here. Just right click on that and go to break link and just capture position. Okay, so now you could see that I'm allowed to activate this. I'm actually going to open up the drop down, and I'm going to go to the fuselage component right here. You can see that's what's selected. And I'm going to construct a tangent plane. So I'm going to go up to the construct drop down and go to tangent plane. And let me see, I'm having trouble seeing what orientation. Okay, so that fin is kind of facing in this orientation. So I'm going to click right here. And so I made a tangent plane that's a plane that's exactly right on the edge of my fuselage. So I'm going to hit OK. And now I have my fuselage component activated. So I'm going to create a new sketch on that plane. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see better. And do you remember that edge of our fin was 3 millimeters by 80 millimeters? This is where this is going to come in. So I'm going to hit P for project real quick, and I want this bottom line, basically, of my fuselage. So I'm going to hit OK, and so yeah, I got that line right there, and I'm going to construct a 3 millimeter by 80 millimeter rectangle. And now I'm going to line this up by using the midpoint tool or midpoint constraint. I'm going to click there and click there. And so now that's right in the center. So I'm going to finish the sketch. And so we're looking real good. And so now I can click, I'm going to push J for join. Let's see, I'm going to move it around a little bit more. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. and I want this to be right in the middle. And so see how it kind of snaps to that middle, that's the center point of that plane. Okay, so I selected that, and now let me go back to that rectangle I just made. And so I want to do that same thing. I want to snap to that center of that plane. I'm going to click there, and there we go. So now it's joined together, and I can move it around, and it all sticks together. All right, this is looking great. So now let's make let's just do a circular pattern, and we're going to get our remaining sorry, I should talk when I actually do this. Do I need to break this link? There we go. So I didn't have the right thing selected. I want a component, and it's selected to component. I need to check objects. And so I select that now. And my axis, I'm going to go ahead, and I think it's going to let me select this as my axis, right? So that circle I know is centered around where I want it to be. And it's going to make 4, and I want 4, okay? So I'm going to hit OK, and this is looking real good. But I drag that, and oh, those 3 aren't dragging with it. No problem. This is going to be really easy to do. I'm going to go to Assemble, Rigid Group. First, I'm going to marquee select. So just click, drag, select everything. Go to Assemble, Rigid Group. Hit yes. Hit OK. And there we go. This is looking good. All right, so this is what I'm going to see when you are done with your complete assembly. You don't need to worry about the parachute. You don't need to worry about the engine. But I do want to see these components joined together to make your complete assembly. All right, I know that was a long tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.